Yeah.
What up? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Dang it. I'll start talking one more time. 5 people. 5 people are watching. My gosh. I was saying all that stuff. I'm here. I'm cold. That's why I'm wearing this, because it's freezing outside. We got 6 people watching us. I'm here with Rebirth of the Word, Tyrone Ellington. I'm having a Coors beer. Coors beer. Why am I going to drink a Coors? Because it's honestly the most economical beer to drink. So I'm having a beer.
You know they're gonna get your ass on YouTube for that shit.
Boulder, Colorado. Oh, I got 10 viewers with Tyrone Ellington. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night. What's going on, Tyrone?
What's up, man? I'm over here doing a daily mythology drop for Atlantis right now. You know how I always do the daily mythology drops.
I'm mad at Atlantis right now. I'm mad at Atlantis right now. You're talking about daily mythology. It's freaking yearly and decadely, and go on.
Nah, I was just in the middle of creating one.
Okay,
I got a lot. You going to Sedona?
Well, we can talk about that. That's a how do you say it? That's a tricky topic right now. Why is it tricky? Well, I just noticed there's a few people not going and speaking, and there's a few people back on the list. Did you know Randall Carlson was supposed to be there?
I heard something about that.
And also, I noticed one other guy, but you know who's missing from the agenda?
Who's that?
Jimmy Corsetti. What happened to Jimmy? Okay, I'm going to keep it.
Oh, he's not going?
Take this off. I'll take this off. Here I am. I'll take this off. I'm bald.
He ain't going?
I'm bald. Well, I mean, take a look at the website right now. There's the Y guy. He's gone too, apparently. Okay, I got to turn on the lights so I can. Is this wrong? I feel like the shade is wrong. Let me put the sunglasses back on. Yeah,
that's
the
crazy.
Y-Files is gone. All right, so this is the thumbnail that I used to bring people into this video. 2025 All History Update. I feel that there's actually a couple slides I still need to add, but there's a couple things that I think that we can stand on with all the different stuff. Oh, by the way, let's see if we got chats going on, comments. Please chat. I will respond to your chat. Also, I believe did you finally share this to your stream, Rebirth?
Yeah, I got it up.
Awesome. I didn't share this to anything else. So, I just lost 3 viewers just talking about that. So here's the deal. I do have a table of contents, and I'll show it to you first. And then, first of all, I love this picture of the moon I took. This is what I should just leave on and get all the people in. But before that, I want to do a personal update. The Richat Structure update, I think, is important. Göbekli Tepe and the constellations, I've been ramping up for that. Number 4 and 5 are kind of the same thing. I do believe that the ancient megalithic terraforming around this planet was done through versions of ancient mining. And then what's new in 2026? Hey, let's take a look straight ahead. Let me put this back on the moon. What's going to happen for 2026 for you? What do you think?
Man, I'm gonna be traveling. I'm going out of country. I'm planning on going to Mexico sometime next year.
Sometime next year, you're going to be with me out of the country in January of next year. That's what I thought. I thought we were
Where are
going to
we
be
supposed to go to?
someplace. Oh, well, I don't know. Let's just say Spain, you know? I don't want to freaking jinx nothing. I don't want to jinx it. I've already jinxed enough, man. This whole year has been a big old jinx. April Fools, what happened to me? I was detained. In Mauritania, trying to get back for the fourth time. That's actually in my presentation. I need to add the slide where I did do a live stream from Mauritania in the airport where I was living for 48 hours because I couldn't get in the country. And when I finally did, you know what happened? It got
Yeah,
burned.
you had a whole video on it.
I got a video. Anyways, that's the past. We're trying to move into the future. Yeah, I got detained. I was detained in Mauritania for 48 hours, and I swear to God, I tried to take the shot, but the camera failed, where the 15 cops were coming straight at me to escort us out into a different part of the airport, I guess, because honestly, let's just say this. I had the what do you call it? The embassy on one phone. I had my fixer on the other phone. They're all saying, "No, you got approved. You got approved." And we got like these cops trying to shove us into another room, and they're not listening to us, and they're just ignoring us. And we barely, literally, at that moment, instead of going that way, we went downstairs and got into the country because we were approved. We were approved, and yeah, take your passport. And I did talk to the embassy. The people who I was in connection with are still on my WhatsApp. They're telling me that you gotta get that e-visa if you want to go into Mauritania. The thing is you can get it in a few days, but it takes a couple days online. So, for example, I'm not going to apply for it till I'm super sure that I'm ready to go back into the country. And there's lots of stuff going on. I might have been there already and not telling you. That's for sure. No more sharing my trip details with the public because I think that was part of the problem. Yeah. So when I talk about going to Spain in January, it's because that's the cheapest flight. When you get a ticket, I live near LA, but I don't want to fly from LA because LAX is crazy. So we do a ticket from another international airport within the domestic area, and it's still cheap. $400 round trip to Spain. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I suggest January is the best time, and it's not really a secret, but I feel like if I turn that off, I'll have better lighting. So shall we talk about stuff? You talk about your channel because it's early in the video. Everybody knows me at Stig. I'm going to the Richat Structure one more time at least before I die. I got to get to those ruiniforms. The ruiniforms they're calling
drone.
You know, that's the problem is you're not supposed to take drones into Mauritania. So if I did take a drone, I wouldn't talk about it. And no, I won't bother. My drone, I'm afraid of that drone, man. It bites. Drones are dangerous. I got a selfie stick I can put up 10 foot in the air. So I don't need to be doing drones. I'll just do a selfie stick and get the shot with a selfie stick. That's my idea. Man, I've only been doing this freaking Mauritania thing. I mean, what are you going to get with a drone? And yes, there are some great drone shots. The one lady, she drives a motorcycle. What's her name? She's Dutch. She's from the Netherlands, but she drives through like Afghanistan on a motorcycle and does the video. She's all by herself.
She's fucking crazy too.
What's her name? I forgot her name. But anyways,
she crazy for doing it.
She went to the Richat Structure, and you know she wasn't alone. But she went to the Richat Structure and she got drone shots, probably the best I've ever seen. Graham Langdon, you know him. We've been together with him at Cosmic Summit. And he got drone shots of the Richat Structure, but not like her. What's her name? I Forgot it.
Don't get me to
Forgot
lie.
it. Say again.
I said, don't get me to lie. I don't know.
Yeah, no. What? Yeah. So what's in my presentation? Personal update. Okay, let me just go through it real quick before I get into my personal update. I do want to say what basically Graham Hancock already says, right? History keeps getting older and older, right? Things keep getting older. But what I want to add to that is, yeah, and it's being suppressed. It's being suppressed. And I just had a new event that just doubled down on this. And I can't. Let me try this. I discovered this show just a few days ago. Now, it is from 2024, but I watched this show, and Atlantis, the discovery with Dan Snow, this asshole, debunked, by the way, by another channel that I discovered. Yeah, they already went through it all. And here's the thing. Now, these guys are British, and in the end, he shows his cards. This guy who did this, he's got a YouTube channel, but he showed his cards in the end, and I'm not going to tell you what he says, but he's got his own opinion about what Atlantis was, and it might surprise you. But this is important right here. There's a connection between the word Atlantic and the word Atlantis. It's just one letter off, right? And the name Atlantis comes from the Greek, and I can't read that, but it says Atlantis Nessos, which means island. We know Nessos means island, right? So here's the thing. Okay, the next slide shows the next important point. Not yet. Wait, the next one is more important, but this one I want to follow up because it's just reading. In Greek mythology, Atlas was a titan condemned to hold up the sky. So remember, this is in the eyes of the Greek. The Greek are the ones that gave the name Atlantis, not the Egyptians, right? It was Plato. However, and I was just talking to my other friend who gave me a slide coming up, and he said it was Solon that caused all the problems because Solon is the one who put the, well,
that's where Plato gets the information from.
He does. And Solon went on a an exile because he didn't want to be judged for his work that he had done in I guess, politics, right? I actually want to do a deep dive on Solon. I was just thinking about that today. But he went on a self-imposed exile because he didn't want to be judged for all the decisions he made while he was in public office. And apparently you could get yourself executed for the decisions you made in public office, from my understanding. So he was protecting himself. He went to Egypt, and while he was there, he was introduced to this story by the Sais priests, one named Sonchis, right? Sonchis of Sais gave him this information. So it's not all Plato's fault. Let me finish reading this slide. So Atlas also, in addition to being a real person, right? The king of Mauritania was a real person, but he also was this king that was like, from the Plato story, where he was also a god. By the way, there's 3 levels of gods, and he's not the old ones. He was the middle ones, or was he the youngest ones? I can't remember. But it says here he was condemned to hold up the sky for eternity, and his name was later associated with the Atlantic Ocean, which is the unknown to the Greek. Beyond the Pillars of Hercules was the unknown to the Greek. Plato didn't know what was out there. Herodotus didn't know what was out there. So we got this unknown. Let's see if there's any comments, by the way. So far, no comments. I got 21 viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome. Hey, give your channel a shout out real quick, Tyrone. Give your channel a shout out.
Go to Rebirth of the Word 7099. You'll find me on YouTube. Rebirth of the Word 7099. Type that in the search bar.
Rebirth of the Word 7099. And by the way, you're the one who kind of debunked this whole Planet 9 from outer space, or Nibiru planet. And you're the one that brought it clear that we're talking about people from under the sea when it comes to Anunnaki. Very good information. So I definitely want my viewers to check out your channel. And people are like, who's Tyrone? Well, Tyrone's the dude I met at Cosmic Summit. Dude's got a freaking Nikon P1000, right?
Yeah, Nikon P950.
950.
One below the
I thought it
1,000.
was,
Yeah.
what? I thought it was either 900 or 1000. There's a 950.
Nah, it goes 900, 950, 1,000. Well, they don't make the 1,000 no more. They stopped making that one. Now they up at 1,100. So it's P 1,100. I think that's what it is.
There's
But
a
the only
problem.
difference between, huh?
Go on. I want to hear you. The only difference is what?
Is the USB connection. They changed it to the newer USB connection. So it's still the same exact camera. It's just the from the 1,000 to the 1,100 is just a USB connection. That's the only difference.
Okay. Well, the only problem I have with that camera is when you're doing video and you're zooming in, you can hear the zooming in mechanism on your video. That's the one problem I've always had. But hey, if you want to get the shot, get the shot. That's the camera to do it. You got stars. I wish I had your camera right now to get Jupiter and all. By the way, we're going to talk about stars tonight if you have the patience. I'm kind of checking out what's going on. Let's see here. So one more thing I want to say. This guy, and by the way, where is his channel? It's right. Sorry, it's here. Prehistoric Britain. That's why I grabbed it once. I should have grabbed it every time. So he debunked Dan Snow. And we're going to get into what Dan Snow said. But before we do, let's finish what he said. This guy is talking about what Plato wrote about Atlantis. Now, this one right here is saying that the term Atlantic Ocean itself is derived from Atlantic coast, pertaining to Atlas. Okay, so we're not talking about Atlantic Ocean anymore. We're talking about the word Atlas. The legend of Atlantis, as recounted by Plato, places the island in the Atlantic Ocean. Well, by the way, I don't agree with everything he says here, but it's beyond the Pillars of Hercules for sure. And he says, which have said to have been named after the Titan, Atlas. The Titan is that one level of Greek gods, right? And the story suggests, wait, one more. Atlantis was beyond where? The Pillars of Hercules, Strait of Gibraltar. Mm-hmm. But what this guy doesn't talk about, and I want to be critical of him, he ignores the fact that Plato also mentions Cadiz, and that the twin of Atlas received the allotments of land closer to the Pillars of Hercules across from Cadiz. He was talking about Morocco, the Atlas Mountains. The name Atlas is right there. Okay, so I agree with him on the Atlas thing. Now, here's the problem. He's trying to debunk this, if I can do it. Okay, I don't know why I can't do it. Here, let me get it right. Okay, this show by Dan Snow. My mouse is messed up. And Dan Snow is going to now, at the beginning of his show called, what's it called? It was called Atlantis. I can't even remember the name. Something by Dan Snow. And it's like 2024, and it's total. Here's the problem. It's totally ignoring everything Plato said. And it's totally trying to debunk Plato's writings. And Plato is the reason why we have the word Atlantis. So this is why I get so frustrated at this. My mouse is messing up here. Let me go back to the beginning of the show. I'm going to show you the show. It's called Atlantis, The Discovery with Dan Snow. Okay, you love to read books. But me, I love to watch videos. So when I saw this, and when I saw it, I didn't realize it was 2024. When I saw it, I said, oh, I'm going to check this out. And I got disgusted. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to absolutely lurch. Let me get a... What are you drinking tonight? You're not doing any alcohol tonight?
Hell no, but you about to get your YouTube shut down showing that beer like that. You know you can't be doing that.
No, this is not beer. This is apple juice.
Okay.
I put apple juice in a Budweiser, in a Coors can. I never heard of that before. Okay, so here's the thing. So, Mr. Snow, he already did some intro in his show, but I did these screenshots. I don't understand why I can't use my arrow. So it's pissing me off because, sorry, my mouse is really messing up here. Okay. All right, I got it. So Jasmine Elmer is an expert on ancient Greece. Okay, I can accept that for being an Atlantis expert too, because Atlantis comes from Greece. The term Atlantis is ancient Greece. It's Plato. It's Solon. But what she said disgusted me. I just wanted to vomit. No, Dan Snow says, is Atlantis fact or fiction? And she says, there's no real city called Atlantis. That's what she said. That's literally what she said. She said it's a mythical place made up by the philosopher Plato. So she's literally saying, I didn't read anything he wrote to me. And look at her. What happened? Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? What is it? This is it? Wait a minute. Now I'm angry. I thought I had one more slide from her. That's weird. 1, 2. Okay, that's it. So that really triggered me. Okay, I guess that's it. That really triggered me. Because of the blatancy of her saying, oh, it's mythical. That's what Plato said. That's a lie. She's literally lying to you. That's not what Plato said at all in his writings. Plato wrote in 2 books, Timaeus and Critias. And I'll show you later on the timeline. But in the first book, Timaeus, Plato really says 2 times, this is not a made-up story. This is a real story. Then in Critias, 3 times, this is a real story that really happened. So when she says that, she's being blatantly disingenuous. How do you feel about this? You've done a lot of reading.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, man, look, I always say we get our information from he say, she say type stuff. Even though Plato wrote in these books that there's Atlantis, there's also people who don't believe the fact that there may be a place named Atlantis. I'm sure there's a place named Atlantis.
Let's ask this question. Why don't they believe what Plato wrote? Why?
Because people are ignorant, man. They don't, well,
wait a minute. They're ignorant, yes, but they're also relying on information. They're relying on information they receive from other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that it's not that they. I don't think honestly they believe the shit that they say. I think, like I was just telling you before we went live, man, this whole thing is full of content creators. Like, this shit just got out of hand to the point
it is
where
pretty crazy. I totally agree.
Everybody wants to share something and only share half the information. I can't tell you how many times I've given people sources to add to their, I guess, their knowledge base. When people say, I'll give you a good example. If somebody says, man, I know about Atlantis, and then Plato says this, or this person says that, I ask them, have you read the actually 2 books that Plato wrote about? And like, no, I didn't read them. And I'm just like, why the fuck not? Like, why are you talking about something that you never even took the time to actually read? That's the only thing that gets me. Like, and most people, they when they read stuff, they're only looking for something that goes with their narrative, and they won't take anything else into consideration. Like, they're only looking for what goes with their narrative, and once they find that, they forget everything else. And I hate that. Like, that this whole I've been saying it, man. Like, this whole thing about history and sharing knowledge is saturated with people wanting to just be content creators. That's all they want to do. They don't care about going to the facts. They don't care about doing their due diligence. They spend more time on online, on Twitter, trying to convince people rather than finding and seeking knowledge. I'll give you another good example. Before I even started reading books, all I used to do was watch documentaries in YouTube and certain types of series of shows and stuff like that, because I didn't feel like reading. I just didn't feel like reading. But then I started realizing that these people are only telling me shit that they want to tell me. What is the other half of the information? What's the stuff that they're not telling me? So that's when I had to decide to go pick up the books and read them for myself. And you don't, I hear people say all the time that they've read thousands and thousands of books. You don't have to read thousands and thousands of books to know something. If your thousands and thousands of books is based off of just one person's translation, then those thousands and thousands of books you've read are just a waste of time. Why not just go straight to the source and read it for yourself? If Plato wrote these books and you have, 3 or 4 different versions of, Timaeus and Critias or whatever, then you got to read those 3 or 4 different versions. You know what I'm saying? And you got to read them side by side.
Well, okay, yeah, but you also have to go to the original source, which is ancient Greek. And yeah, get a copy of that and put that through the AI.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Directly. Look at it directly.
But see, even then, when you translating somebody else's language, you're not translating it like word for word, because there's not our words don't always match up with their words.
No.
So you're going to get a summarization of what somebody is comprehending from that translation, right? That's all it is.
Hey guys, let me do a quick shout out. Do me a favor, quickly share this on your platforms right now. Make sure you're subscribed. Please give it a like. I really need to pump up my channel right now. I mean, Tyrone's talking about ancient translations of ancient stuff. You don't get this just anywhere. Share this with your platforms. Tyrone, I totally agree. You've got to double check your translations. And yeah, I've been dealing with one translation. But before I met you, I was pumping up with the whole AI to listen to, and not just AI. YouTube has a great selection of audio book versions of Critias and Timaeus that are not the same translations that I was relying on. So I literally got a double dose with YouTube. But yeah, why not just go straight to the source, ancient Greek, the actual word for word words of Plato. And you know, one more thing, and then I'll shut up and let you keep talking. I'll shut up in a sec. One more thing, though, is a couple of people, and they're very famous. They were talking about all these different versions of Critias. Oh, I know 21 versions of this. I have 21 copies or translations of that. It's like, okay, well, stop talking about it and start to analyze it and talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about how smart you are. Talk about the actual information.
Yeah,
that's down to bottom.
That's why
I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to talk about what
with you.
And I agree with you. Some things that I know might be a little off because I learned a lot recently by looking at other versions of Critias and Timaeus. I was actually looking at Timaeus a lot. Timaeus was the first thing Plato wrote about Atlantis. And there was a third book called Hermocrates. I'll show you that later. Right now we got Indigenous Minds giving us some comments. He's our viewer that's commenting. He says his story, what it is and what it's not. Call it for what is the colonial narrative. And I don't call it that. I call it the puppet masters. Because honestly, the people who are puppet mastering us now, I believe, are not the same people that were being colonialists back in the day. It's a different story. We're getting history from more, and then it says here, the indigenous perspective is missing. How do you feel about that one?
Well, it depends on where you consider where Atlantis is at, because and what indigenous people are you speaking about? Because obviously there's always a group of individuals who are indigenous to their land that has stories about this stuff. You know, the one thing that I always ask people is, okay, we know Atlantis existed because of Plato and what he wrote in his 2 books. Now my question is what was so advanced about them that made them more advanced than the rest of the civilizations? Like, what technology did they have that was so advanced that we can actually absolutely say for sure that was an advanced civilization? And I give you a good example. Throwing rocks at animals used to be a way to kill an animal, depending on how good you can throw a rock or sling a rock, right? Now we move to bow and arrows. Well, bow and arrows is considered an advanced technology. Then we went from bow and arrows and probably to crossbows and stuff like that. Well, crossbows is an advanced technology versus bow and arrows, and now we have rifles and pistols. That's an advanced technology. When we start shooting lasers and shit like that, that's going to be considered an advanced technology. So what is it that Atlantis actually have that we can say for sure for ourselves that they were an advanced civilization? Because yeah, Plato does say they were an advanced civilization, but what made them so advanced versus everybody else?
Well, and that there you go. But I would say, to be honest, I would say they were advanced because we're talking about 9,000 years before Plato, right? That's what he claimed. Don't give me the Santorini bullshit line. Don't give me that. But let's just say that we are so-called hunter-gatherers during the time of Göbekli Tepe. So Göbekli Tepe, is that the same time as Atlantis? No. I think that we're talking about advanced technology because it existed farther back. Like there must have been iron, okay? There must have been iron. Don't say it was a copper age.
Yeah, there was definitely iron, bro. There was definitely iron.
Had iron.
I think at bare minimum, because see the arguments that everybody has about Göbekli Tepe or the pyramids of Egypt and all these other places, they say, well, they didn't have the iron or the metals to cut the stone the way they did. I think that's bullshit because let's just say that they did have iron. Does that change your argument, or are you going to find something else to say, well, they couldn't still do it because of this, that, and the third? Well, your first reaction is that they didn't have iron or some type of metal to do what they did with the stones and stuff like that. Now, you mentioned Göbekli Tepe, and that's very interesting to me because Göbekli Tepe goes back, 12,900 years, somewhere give or take, and probably more than that, depending on who you talk to.
Probably.
That is around.
Down far
yeah. So
the top layer,
that's
the top layer.
Yes, yeah. So obviously, but the point is that we know for a fact, 100% fact, that's around the same time that they say Atlantis was around about, or give or take, somewhere around there. I mean, what my point is we know Göbekli Tepe had a technology that wasn't usually, or is not usually accepted for that time frame of going back 12,900 years, give or take. So my question goes back to, why is Atlantis what is considered the advanced civilization as they are? Everybody's arguing about it to the extent of saying, well, they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. But if you implement the idea that they actually had weapons, they had metal that can cut stone and do this, that, and the third, we see that all around the world that predates sometimes Göbekli Tepe in a way, right?
Right, and all around the world. 30,000 years in North America, in South America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 30, 40,000 years plus, maybe. You got some places in Africa that goes back 75,000 years. You got places in Aboriginal Australia that goes back 50,000 years. It just depends on what you're looking at. But the point is we don't see none of that for Atlantis. Even if there was a worldwide flood and Atlantis got wiped off the face of the earth, there would be still some remnants of their artifacts. We haven't found any. Well, I'm not gonna say we haven't found, because there's nobody that has presented it yet, because they're still, trying to get their cross-referencing. But we don't really see the technology that we should see for an advanced civilization that happened, maybe 9,000-10,000 years ago, in either place. Whether you believe it's the Sahara Desert, whether you believe it's Cadiz, whether you believe it's, even some people say Atlantis was America.
Well, and that's the thing. The end of Atlantis was Plato. What was the beginning of Atlantis? A global network.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plato even says in so many ways that Atlantis was a connected of cities, from different places. From Europe to North Africa. It literally says that, Libya to Egypt to, it's just so many different places. I've done podcasts.
in that video they were saying Libya and Turkey. I'm like, what? How did you get there? The guy was like, yeah, it's bigger than Libya. I always said Libya and Asia combined. That's what Plato wrote, but I am relying on translations. But this guy, Dan Snow, he said Libya and Turkey combined. So that literally reduces its size. However, it's still a continent, in my opinion. Hey, by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off. Re-indigenizing Mind says the people of Atlantis were directly connected to ancient Sumer. How do you feel about that one?
I mean, I've heard people go down that road talking about, Atlantis and Sumer and stuff like that, but that's not really accurate because the Sumerian civilization started around 3200 BC. Before them, it was the Ubadians. And we don't know who they were before the Ubadians, right? We just know that it was the Ubadians.
Re-indigenizing Minds just got challenged, and he says Corral, Peru. By the way, he's been a contributing commenter on my channel for over a year now.
Now that's something that I do agree with, because the Peru thing with the pyramids in Peru, they're older than Egypt. I've already read that so many different times, so I agree with that part. But I always say that the pyramids were never the pyramids in Egypt were never the first ones, because you have pyramids in Bosnia, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, that they say that predates the ones in Egypt. They just don't know exactly because they can't do any archaeological digs there. Then you have the ones in China that we know that they blocked off. They put concrete on some of the pyramids in China to block them off. Like, there's literally pictures of this stuff available online. They know that there are pyramids in China, and
we've seen them. We've seen them.
Yeah. They have video of it. They have pictures. I mean, there's old books on it. Yeah. So,
and by the way, I speak Chinese, so I
yeah. So, man, I'm telling you that the belief system out there is astonishing to me, because when people say, like, hey, I don't believe in Atlantis, but then turn around and say I believe in Planet Nibiru, that shit just blows my mind. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
It just blows my mind.
I'm not a fan of when people do that. I don't like it when people like grab stuff and, oh, that's it. There it is. I am Mr. That could be true. I am Mr. Let's take a look at this a little closer. I'm not, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to hug it. I'm going to embrace it. That's the truth. That's the way it was. No, that's not scientific at all. By the way, Indigenous Minds is mentioning it. Aslan. Do you know about Aslan?
Aslan. Yeah, I know about that. I had a 2-hour show with somebody who broke all that stuff down, the etymology of Atlantis.
Okay, does it include San Francisco? I believe that's San Francisco was part of Aslan. That was the top part. Aslan included all this area. Aslan, by the way, I was involved in a club, and yes, it was for a girl. Mecha, the Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano. Yes, I'm Chicano, right? Boom. De Atlan. So Mecha, that was named after Atlan, and that's the first time I ever heard of it. That was back in like 1988, 89, 90. And no, wait, 88, because I hadn't even gone into the military yet. And it was over a girl. I wasn't really the girl, but I joined the club as a white boy, joined a Latino club in school. Aslan, Mecha. It's called Mecha. And I was involved in that club, but the bottom line was the girlfriend, she was the vice president in Mecha. And Aslan, I learned, was all the way from Mexico City up to San Francisco. Anyways, I don't need. It's not really a big point, but because Indigenous Minds mentioned we are natives from Atlan. And by the way, he has more points. The academons are wrong. Sumer is more ancient as Hyperborea, its trading partner. By the way, the point right there, trading partner. To me, that's so meaningful because The whole reason I'm involved in this entire alternative history movement is because my question, how old is international trade? I have a master's in business in international management, and I always wondered what was the oldest community. And so, of course, we're pointed towards Sumer, but that's not really a trading partner. Sumeria didn't really show up in history as a big trading partner. It was more about they were
with
the first city-state.
They traded
Okay,
with
but that's
the
right next
Acadians.
door. The Acadians were not even over the ocean. The Acadians were more north, right? So I'm talking about like you were trading internationally. Re-indigenizing minds is going wild with comments right now. Atlantis and Aslan are two different things. Okay, I can believe that for my own reasons. What do you think? Are they the same or different?
I've heard that. I mean, there's arguments for it. I mean, etymology wise, you know, the following the linguistically following the language.
Well, he makes a good point. They are two different places, and I think he will agree with me that San Francisco was the northernmost. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be so precise because I wasn't there, but San Francisco and Mexico City, that's Aztlan. That's Aztlan. So California was Aztlan.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you got to remember, it's interesting because you know, they say, I've heard people say that Atlantis was in America. There's books on it and stuff like that.
He says right there. Look what he says. Not everything are in books, bro.
Yeah, where else would you get it from then?
You know where else would you get it from? Indigenizing minds. Where else would you get it from?
The only place you'll probably get it from. The only place you'll probably get it from is if you have some kind of meditative dream or something, or vision or something like that, or epiphany or something like
word
that.
Word of mouth, not written.
Yeah, but you got to remember, most of those people, you know, it came to a point where people got tired of doing the word of mouth thing, and they wanted to put it down on recording, and that's where it probably got it messed up.
That's called history. That's called history.
Yep.
Right. Well, anyways, we're just gabbing. We're just gabbing around. I mean, the point is that what is the point? I mean, I think that there is a colonial narrative, and now it's even been taken over by a more recent version of puppet masters. I mean, we're not talking about slavery anymore. We're talking about renegotiators. I don't even want to say, like I said in my very first slide, our past is being covered up. And this guy, Dan Snow, he's part of the problem. And he's bringing... Oh, you know what? I forgot to say. After he interviews that lady, where does he go? He goes to Greece. And he's tromping all around Greece. He's going to several different places. Later, even Santorini. That wasn't Atlantis. This is... It's not even going what Plato wrote. It's a total deflection. It's a total deflection. Okay, re-indigenizing says my elders. So there you go. It's not books. It's from the elders. It's word of mouth. Native elders, not books. And by the way, I do welcome re-indigenizing back. He's been really helpful. One of the things re-indigenizing minds pointed out was that there's actually a line going from Colorado all the way down into Baja California. These ancient walls and roads, they're like roads, but they're walls too, and they're just passageways that direct all the way through. And I do believe that it's true. Re-indigenized still at it. He says, remember, it's all about real alternative history. Anyways, Tyrone, you really do have this Sumerian thing down. What more can you say about it? I really want to open up the map and talk about Sumeria with you.
You know, I always say, you know, the Sumerians, I always say that they're considered the first civilization because of their writing system.
Yes.
But my question always has been is, you know, what is everybody's criteria that is needed to be considered a civilization? Because I don't think, me personally, I don't think a writing system is what you can consider a civilization. I don't know how to put it in words to be what considered a civilization is, but I keep it simple. Ants are considered a civilization, but they don't fucking have a writing system that we know of, right? I mean,
By the way, you said ants, and I know one thing about ants is if you take the total mass of all the ants in the world, they will equal the total mass of humans in the world. And I got ants coming through my place right now, so they are in charge. And yeah, they don't care about you. Ants are there. Ants weigh as much as us. Now, of course, how many ants do I weigh? I'm 200 pounds, so 210 pounds. I was 207 today. I'm really happy with my weight. But 207 pounds of ants, that's what, a million? Maybe 100,000? I mean, I don't know. But can you imagine what my weight of ants is? And that's the total mass of ants on this planet. And they are a civilization, aren't they? It's a good point.
Yeah,
they are animals. They are animals.
I mean,
Ants
look
are
at wolves. Look at wolves. Wolves. What I've learned about wolves is that they have a small pack like we do, right? Or like humans do, like a family, right? And if one of the members in the pack gets injured or sick or something like that, right? They'll it will it, they'll kind of in a way look out for it, but then you have some that will fucking eat their own, their own members and stuff like that. They're savages and stuff like that. So I mean, what my question is and will always be, what is the criteria needed to be considered a civilization? Because we know academia, at least on their side, they say writing system. Not all of them agree with it, but that's what is, typically in the sense of what is agreed upon as far as what they want to get down to a civilization. But even then, if you look at that, the ancient Egyptians, their hieroglyphs go back much further than the Sumerian writing system. I mean, that's just facts right there. I mean, you can find their hieroglyphs from pottery to all kinds of stuff. It was, I guess the reason why, well, I'm not going to say, what I learned is that the reason why they say the Sumerians are considered the first civilization is because they took a writing system and the way it got, to the point of being advanced, like having, lines and how to read it, because, there's a certain way to read their text. And it's actually different depending on what time frame you look. But see, the Sumerians writing system, it started off as a pictographic script. It didn't start off as, and what you talked about perfectly was the trading. It started because of trading. That's the reason why. But see, this is the other thing. The Sumerians are considered the first civilization because of their writing system, and it started as a pictographic script for trading, but they traded with the Akkadians. So that means the Akkadians had to develop a writing system simultaneously with the Sumerians so they can trade back and forth. So why is it that the Sumerians are considered the first civilization? Because of their writing system. Because to have a pictographic script to trade with, you have to have another group of individuals to do that trading with. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just confusing on, what people say, what they believe versus what the facts are. And that's why I say, me personally, get rid of the writing system. And can you make an argument that the Sumerian civilization was the first civilization without the writing system argument? Or can you just say, okay, here, we're going to pick something new? Because if you look at the Ubadians, they had a type of, I'm not going to say a writing system, but they had a pictographic script also. And their pictographic script was just drawing. Look at how we use emojis as of today. Matter of fact, what Anna has right now on the monitor that I'm looking at, you have an emoji with like a shocking face. But that can be, if you look at that, you might see something different. I see shock, I see wow factor, I could see like, oh my goodness, something like that. But what does it mean to you when you see that, Or hey, that's an eye opener. That can even be an eye opener for some people, right? Like it's so different what everybody says what a civilization is. Matter of fact, Dr. Margaret Mead, I believe she was an anthropologist, if I'm not mistaken. She had a a theory that the first civilization started because the femur bone was healed, and they were able to see that it was broken at some time at a younger age, and as the individual got older, they still have remnants of what you could see as a broken bone, and it was a femur. So she says that civilization goes back 15,000 years ago, right? But we go back to Göbekli Tepe, and we look at Göbekli Tepe and look at them. That goes back 12,900 years, give or take, easy, right? So I mean, really, what do we say about that, right?
Yeah, we don't say much because we don't know anything. Nobody knows about it, and so we rely on the professionals, the scientists, to give us that gatekeeping narrative, and it gets frustrating after a while. Hey, by the way, you mentioned Göbekli Tepe just now. What do you think about Pillar 43 here? 43, right? It's got the so-called vulture, which I kind of look at it, and then it's got the Scorpio. Do you think those are astrological signs?
I mean, it could be. I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, when I look at yeah, I mean,
go on.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Somebody made a scorpion, a vulture, and whatever else outside of those things, right? Do you really see that in the star system yourself, or did somebody? It's not like how we was little kids. Remember how when you was a little kid they had the pictures where you connect the dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, right? And then you can clearly see the picture for itself, right? Do you honestly see that in the sky when you look at it? Like, can you tell that it's Scorpion without, knowing that that's actually the location?
Well, no. The only thing that tells you is word of mouth. Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
I know what the Big Dipper looks like, and I know what the Little Dipper looks like in the sky.
But they call that the Big Bear. They call it the Big Bear. So, by the way, I get you this one right here, and I want to just mention a couple things about the constellations. I've been watching them ever since I found out about the precession of the equinox. Here you have what's called the Swan, Cygnus. If you can see my little arrow. And that's probably, I mean, if you want to talk about this formation, I don't agree with what we're looking at here. That I don't agree with at all.
I don't see a scorpion and shit like that. I just see somebody just say, hey, I'm going to count that as the scorpion sky, or I'm going to count that as the vulture.
Okay, because look, here's what we've got to deal with. We've got the sun going along the ecliptic, and it's in this picture is the reason why I want to mention that according to this picture up here, you see this disc next to the bird. Maybe it's a vulture, maybe it's actually a swan, maybe. And so what is that disc? It's not even close when you look at the actual path of the sun. The sun goes along the ecliptic. And now the Scorpio is actually one of the 12 astrological signs that we know. So we're talking about an old story, right? No matter what, people know it as Scorpio. Later on, these other constellations were changed and added later, but there were really about 20 of them from the Sumerian time. I got that chart down here, right here, not that. Here, it shows the original constellations, and I want to make sure I'm looking at it. Let me get rid of that. We got T-shaped. This guy, re-indigenizing, says T-shaped pillars. We have T-shaped doors here. Re-indigenizing. Where's here? T-shaped.
Yeah, well, I'm about to ask him where's he from, or where are they from, because they're talking about indigenous.
If he's not in New Mexico, he's the one that was talking about New Mexico. Let's keep going with the constellation, though. The first, okay, as you can see from my chart, and I got more. That's number 2, and that's number 3. There's 88 constellations, but some of them are modern, like this. And when I say modern, they're from 1751 AD. Look at that. Mensa, Fornax. These are all modern. Yeah, he says he's in New Mexico. Pueblos. The city of Pueblos, New Mexico. Okay, back to this. So the first, according to this, and by the way, you don't trust AI 100%, right? And I don't, because I'm not going to believe for a second that only 17 of these constellations were recognized. Not for a second. But what we have is the first astrological. That's it, right? That's the first 12 right there. We have Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Libra, Aries. Okay, that's 12. Then we've got Ophiuchus. That's not part of it, but it's still attributed here to the Mesopotamian civilization. It even shows here Babylonian, Sumerian / Babylonian, whatever that means. Taurus. Taurus has got to be one of the oldest constellations, which contains the Seven Sisters, by the way. And Seven Sisters is a constellation, but it's within another constellation. Nobody ever mentions that. Down here we have Gilgamesh.
Yeah, well, that's Pleiades. That's what people consider Pleiades. But see, a lot of people don't understand that Pleiades was used for when they needed to do some type of agricultural planning of some sort, right? Like when you could see Pleiades in the sky at a certain point in the sky, that's when you needed to do a certain agricultural preparations for the tribe. Basically, that's literally what it was for, man. Like, I know a lot of people always talk, and that's another thing that kind of pisses me off about what some people say is that Pleiades had aliens and extraterrestrials come from there and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, you guys never really actually read the text, because the Sumerians did have, or I'm not going to say Sumerians, because you did say Sumerians and Babylonians. I have an 1873 Bible here. And in that Bible, it actually says the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Chaldeans are one and the same individuals, meaning that there's no difference in them. That it's just, I guess, what they called themselves changed over time. But in reality, Pleiades, Seven Sisters, even Dr. Michael S. Heiser talks about it. He talks about it when he's describing cylinder seal VA243, and that's that one that Sitchin is always holding, that's trying to say, that's the 12th planet, or what we could call the 13th planet or 11th planet, or depending on, how many planets people were adding and taking away at that time, because right now we took away a planet from our solar system that used to be a planet when I was a little kid. I think, what was it, Pluto, right? You remember Pluto? It used to be considered a planet, and it's no longer a planet no more. Is it
well,
Pluto?
yeah, and I consider it a planet because it's by itself. It's not a moon, so it's a planet still. I like the planet theory. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in today's time frame, we don't, the people who's in charge of that, what they label as planets and not planets. Pluto is no longer recognized as a planet. But when I was in, middle school, high school, and shit like that, matter of fact, it's called the International Astronomical Union, IAU. They the ones who changed it from being a planet to not being a planet anymore. It's officially it's considered a planet, but it's not considered a full planet. It's a dwarf planet, and I don't know why that even makes a difference. Like a planet, dwarf planet. I mean, what's the difference in that? Like, why do you even have to reclassify that, right? Because when I hear dwarf planet, I just hear something smaller than what is normally recognized as a planet. But look at Jupiter and Saturn compared to everybody else, right? So, I mean,
well, Jupiter's the biggest planet in our solar system, but it's a gas planet, and I mean, all I can say is, by the way, what we're looking at right here, this is what I look at every night. This is, and when I say that, it's funny because what you're seeing right here isn't what I see every night. It's the birth of Jesus Christ. And simultaneously, it's the beginning of our age of Pisces. So if you look at this, you see Pisces and the sun's coming up. Let me make it a little bigger. The sun's coming. See, it's not big enough. The sun's coming up, and it's actually coming up inside the... This would be March 21st. That's the spring equinox. That's the beginning of the age. If you're for the first time touching with the sunrise, the constellation Pisces. That's the beginning of the age. Now, I don't know if I have it perfect, but this is the first year, March 21st, 6 a.m. So it's really just, I mean, and you're seeing more than just Pisces. You're seeing everything. A triangulum, Pegasus. The square just above Pisces, and Pisces is those two lines coming to the right and coming to the left, and then you have that square right above it. That's Perseus. Perseus contains also Andromeda, and over here where my mouse is, you see Cassiopeia. It looks like the letter 3 or the number 3, but it's also the mother, the queen. The queen gave birth to Andromeda. Cassiopeia has 2 breasts, and the larger one at the top points right at the actual galaxy Andromeda. Now down below is Perseus the king. He got her pregnant, I guess. They're all a family. Over here on the right is Aquarius. We're not in the age of Aquarius yet. If you look at the numbers, Pisces needs almost 3,000 years. So we're literally at 2025. And yes, that shows the beginning of our age and our year of our Lord, Christ. So we're sitting here at Pisces 2025. We have about 800 more years before we enter Aquarius, which is shown here on the right. Now, here's the thing that you were saying earlier about the 7 sisters or Pleiades. They were a sign. It's time to harvest your shit.
Yeah,
That's
what I'm
really what
saying.
it's all about.
Yeah,
That's
preparing
autumn.
for your
That was
agricultural needs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now,
Is that
yeah.
it's
And by the
crazy
way,
that people it's crazy that people talk about that. She said it looked like the Teletubbies. Yeah, it do kind of in a way. But if you think about it, everything that we've done in our life has been our matter of fact. I'll just keep it simple. The sky was our calendar slash watches. When the sun hits a certain way, you will plant certain seeds. When the moon is a certain, when it's a full moon, that's a good time to go fishing. And I know that from being a fisherman myself. And then you can tell when certain constellations are in the sky at a certain point, that was when you were supposed to do certain things for basically for agricultural needs. Like you look at in Hebrew, you look at the first letter Aleph, Aleph in there, you'll see the ox head in there. And what's the ox head known for? What's an ox known for? Was known as a strong leader. It's a strong leader, basically, right? And when we look at the Aleph, when we look at the linguistics of God, you will see that it goes back to the ox in so many ways. And what is God? God is a strong leader. So you got to look at it linguistically. You got to look at the meaning of what they did at the time. And that people were always looking up at the sky. I mean, we have so much light pollution today that when you look in the sky, you're not going to see half the shit that you want to see, right? You got to go out there in the woods and stuff like that.
You can't even see Pisces. So basically, when you look at this picture right here, that Pisces, you can't even see it tonight, even though it's right there. Oh, by the way, down below is Aries, the other age. Aries, right down there by the horizon where my mouse is. That's Aries. Aries was the ram. And then we have Taurus. And you mentioned the ox. That's Taurus age. Not that. Let's go down here. This is the ages right here. And when you see this, I made this chart about 6 years ago. I'm still quite proud of it. We're in Pisces right now. And so, as you can see, I made this chart in 2022. That's why it says on the finished column. But when you go through them all, you got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. I mean, that's when the Wow, my brain, it just blocked out all the words. Um, the Sphinx. I believe the Sphinx was a lion, not a dog. And because it was honoring the age of lion, the Leo. That was 10,000 years ago. Here I showed 11,000, but to be honest, Leo to Cancer, the 10,000 is right there. So when people say it was 10,000 years ago, it's correct. Also, Leo, because Robert Schoch implied that the Sphinx could be a little bit older than this age. The previous one was 36,000 years ago. Do you think the Sphinx could be that old?
I mean, he says because of the water erosion, and the dude has a PhD, so who am I to argue that, right? In order for me to argue that, I can't use somebody else's argument. I have to use my own argument. And I can't because I don't have the degree in the field that he specializes in. He gives a
Well,
good
but
sound argument.
He's also
No, go
about
ahead.
the coronal mass ejections creating the ice age melt. So he
Yeah, but
doesn't go with the mainstream.
yeah, but that's not his expertise though. That's his opinion. That's his opinion based off of, because he's not a doctor, you know. But he is a doctor because you consider PhD a doctor. So yeah, but he's not a medical doctor. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, you know, Robert Schoch gives a good explanation on why the Sphinx can be older than what it is. Now, my question is, um, why did he pick those dates? Because our dates are never exact. It's always a give and take date. When they do radiocarbon data and testing and stuff like that, something can go back 500 years or something can go back 5,000 years. And somebody will look at that 500 and 5,000 and be like, oh, it was 750 years. And I'm just like, well, how in the hell did you pick that date then? You know what I mean? If the radiocarbon data can be so fluctuated to the point where it can go one way or the other. And then not only that, the contamination that goes into the effect of these things, because they say once that you dig this stuff out the ground and it hits the elements outside, that contaminates it, right? So now how do you justify your date? You know what I'm saying? Nobody can really justify their date. And that's what really makes me kind of irritated, is that people will pick a date that goes with their narrative. And I said that before. You heard me say that so many times, that people will pick a date for their narrative just so they can sit up there and, you know, be right about something or feel like they're right about something. My question is when I make an argument for something, I have to make an argument that I was something that I might believe in. Then I have to make an argument at the same time of saying, okay, well, if it's not this, then it could possibly be this, right? You have to have so many different. You can't just have one argument. And I give you an example. You always heard me say, I don't think the Anunnaki / Anuna came from planet Nibiru, right? Could they have came from a different planet? That is possible. I don't know. But what I can tell you right now for a fact is that there's no cuneiform tablet identifier that says that. There is depictions, there's myths, and we even know that Enki himself came from the water. He came from the water to give humans you know, knowledge on random things from agriculture to trading to, you know, doing whatever it is to, you know, better humanity's life. But I can say this: they may have never came from a different planet, but there's arguments that Mars once sustained the life, and then, you know, there was a group of individuals who you know, left Mars because it was going through some kind of problem, some kind of issue. They left Mars and they came here to planet Earth. Do I believe that? I don't know, but that's what, you know, some people say from the exoteric side, you know, the pseudoscience of what, if you want to call it that. But that doesn't mean that it's fake. You know what I mean? It's all I'm trying to do is just, all I want to know for a fact is, where did you get the information and why did you choose that information as your go-to for being accurate? Like, can you make any other argument of what it can be? Because I do believe the Sphinx may be older than what it is. I mean, I really do. And we know for a fact, 100% fact, we know for a fact that the Sphinx was under sand at one time, right? If it
Oh, I
rained a
got
lot,
photos of it.
yeah,
I got
if it
photos
rained
of
a
it.
lot, exactly. So if it rained a lot in Egypt, right, and the Sphinx was covered up by sand, obviously the sand would get wet, right? Can the sand can wet sand contribute to that type of idea that there was water erosion from what Robert Schoch says? I mean, I don't know. That's the kind of questions that I would like to ask him, but because he doesn't have time to answer these questions for everybody and all this stuff, my answer would never my question would never be answered. Because think about it, when you pour water on sand, it's wet, right? If it rains a
Sure.
lot, it doesn't have to necessarily be a flood, but if it rains enough, could that be the contributing factor of what might be causing the water erosion that he talks about that might be said as a major flood? I mean, I don't know, but that's something that somebody would have to
Wow, I
ask
can't
him.
believe this. I got 50 viewers right now. 50 people are watching this. Now, my other source says only 4 people are watching this. But according to this, 50. Is that from your end or is that from my end?
Yeah,
Thank
let me
you
see.
very much, 50 viewers. That is awesome. 51 now. Please add us, subscribe, like it, share it. Tyrone, your channel is Rebirth of the World. What are those 4 numbers? Word. Rebirth of
Word
the
70
Word. And then 7
7099.
7099. Make sure you're subscribed and share this because I'd have to say right now, Tyrone, you're really one of my main sources for Sumerian history. And the reason why is because you're doing the real work right here and reading it and actually knowing it. Hey, by
Yeah, I
the
just
way, when
went
it comes to
over
studying,
go ahead.
well, I was going to talk about this next slide, but go on. What did you just go over?
I was just gonna say, I just went over all of Sitchin's books just in the last 2 weeks of what I've learned
Right.
from reading these books and giving, the facts out on the table. And not only do I give the facts on the table, when I go live, what I like to do is I like to bring sources to the table. So when there's something that I'm talking about that I'm trying to be um, harping on, I guess, I go pull up the sources online. A lot of people don't realize this, but if you know the right websites for the Sumerian history, like CDLI, Penn State, not Pennsylvania, not Penn State, Pennsylvania, ETCSL from Oxford, ORAAC, ORAC. I guess that's how you say it. I'm not sure. I never heard anybody say it. There's so many different websites that you can go on to and not have to spend a dime on trying to learn about the Sumerian civilization. Literally, the book, the ancient literature of Sumer and the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature is literally the same. You get more information on one versus the other, but for the main part, if you want to know the translations of what the Sumerians said about, the Nuna / the Anunnaki, it's available online for everybody to read, and everybody is able to look at the cuneiform tablets online for themselves too. Like, you don't have to go and spend hundreds and bucks on different books trying to get the information, because everybody's getting the information from one or two sources. A good example is not even just the Sumerians, the Egyptians. You don't have to read 1,000 books about the Egyptian civilization to know about Ra and Ta and Khnum and all these other individuals. All you have to do is just read the coffin text, the pyramid text, and a couple of ancient the Egyptian book of the Dead. You don't have to go and read everybody's what they're comprehending. If you just want to go read the English versions just like they did, then pick up the coffin text, the pyramid text, and the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and boom, that's basically all you really need to know right there. Like, you don't have to study 200 different books just to understand what the Egyptians were talking about, because those 200 books I guarantee you those people got their same sources from those 3 books that I named. Guarantee, because every book that I have about 50 different books on ancient Egypt. I have a couple of hundred, I got about 100 on Sumer, and I got a whole bunch of other books. I got a lot of books, and I can tell you that these individuals use the same source. Like when anybody talks about the Epic of Gilgamesh, they're going to go and get what is it? Andrew George's book, The Epic of Gilgamesh. They're going to get his book because he's the one that translated them, and he translated them in so many different languages, or not different languages, but versions, because there's different versions for different time frames. So a lot of people I always take it, tell people, if you really want to just learn about the Sumerian civilization, just go to the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature online, and that be your foundation of understanding of what they said. You don't have to go and read so many different people's books. I mean, it's good to go get other books, of course, and expand on that. But for the most part, if you really just want to get the foundation, before you build the house of knowledge, if you just want the foundation, just go to the electronic corpus of Sumerian literature and you'll be good to go. And then you can go to different sources to, just broaden or expand your knowledge on that stuff.
I've got my timeline of Solon to Plato right here. I really want to get more timelines. And yes, I've shared them with you in the past, these Sumerian timelines. But it's really, and I'm learning a lot. But it's hard to grasp everything. Here, I added a couple of new people to this timeline. I've had this for a while now. I've been developing this timeline for like more than 5 years, like 7 years now. And what I just added was Hermocrates and Timaeus of Locri. And the other person, Critias, he's in there. And so one shot from Mike Parker, a gentleman that you haven't met yet, but he's given me a lot of information. It shows the overlap right here. Plato was quite young. It shows here he was born in 4, maybe 23. And everybody else in this timeline was already born, like already way older, like from 460 born. So 460 to 410, that's 50 years. So everybody here was at least, Socrates even 10 years more, 5 years more. So 55, 50, 50, 50, 50. And then the last one is Plato. So according to this, and I've looked at it, Plato was the youngest one to be, and here he is over here on the right. And I put a little yellow line connecting him to Solon because from my research, Plato was related to Solon directly. Maybe not a direct son or grandson or great-grandson, but he was definitely in the family, and he was able to see the writings of Solon because according to what he said, Critias was in possession of those writings. We've got Timaeus of Locri, almost the same as Plato. He's the newest one, and I'm still learning about this, but he was like the first one. Where can we get a timeline like this of even older stuff? Sumerian, you can't get a timeline of actual people. You get a timeline of the city-state. You get a timeline of the activities.
City-state mostly.
But you don't get actual people. We've got Akkad of Assad, right? Or Sargon of Akkad, sorry. Sargon of Akkad. He was the one that really changed the things in the Sumerian timeline. But, I mean, who else do you have to talk about? Can you name some people?
I mean, you like Marduk. Good example is Marduk. Marduk comes from the Babylonian time frame, and he became the 50 names of gods. Basically, Marduk is basically the one who became in charge of all the Anuna/Anunnaki, but his time frame goes to the Babylonian time frame, right? And that's what gets me is like you said it perfectly, is that you don't really get times and dates of the individuals, because even Anu/An, the god that's was in charge of the Anuna/Anunnaki, there's no real time frame on that individual. Matter of fact, there's hardly anything spoken about that individual. Literally, most of that stuff that we know about him comes from the Babylonians and the Chaldeans mostly. And the only reason why we know so much about him is because the Sumerian pictographic script for him was like a star, basically, like an eight, I think like an 8-pointed star, if I'm not mistaken. It was just like, it's just crazy that there's so much information out there, but the information that we have is not as accurate as, you know, what so many people have said it is. You know, like I said, people create narratives. That's why you have people like Billy Carson saying the same thing Zachariah Sitchin says. Billy Carson is another person that I harp on a lot because he takes a lot what other people say and he makes it entertaining and monetizes it. Like when you talk about the emerald tablets, you know, he doesn't hardly give any credit to that person that actually received the emerald tablets, or so-called received the emerald tablets, right? He tries to, you know, I read one of his latest books, the new book that, or one of the new books, the Thoth Emerald Tablets, not the first one that he wrote, but another one that he has. And it's crazy that this man literally will tell you that you have to buy his workshops to get true actual knowledge. And that blows my mind, because you're taking information from somebody else who's no longer here anymore to defend themselves and say, hey, you're copywriting my material, or you're taking my ideas. Because he's literally taking other people's ideas. Like what's the guy's name? Maurice Durrell. He's the one that actually supposedly have received the emerald tablets from Thoth himself. He was supposedly the one that actually received them, the translations and everything. Billy Carson made up his first book, I believe, was off of that, and he became a bestseller off of that. But Maurice Durrell is not a bestseller. He's the one that supposedly got this information. So like I said, this whole stuff with everything, it's all about content creating. You know, you're stealing people's ideas. Because I'm telling you, he literally is stealing people's ideas, and that's what most of this stuff is that people steal other people's ideas. They don't really challenge them. They don't really answer the real questions and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just, to me, it's just important just to look at the origins of the information. Who was the first person to actually come up with this information? Who was the first person that actually, you know, translated this stuff? And I know for a fact Billy Carson ain't translating nothing. I know for a fact he's not, because if he was translating it, he wouldn't be saying the same stuff Zachariah Sitchin would be saying. And I'm telling you, when it comes to the Sumerians, there's so many, everybody lumps in that Mesopotamian area with the Sumerians, and you mentioned it perfectly. Sargon of Akkad. He literally, the matter of fact, the Sumerians called them the Anuna. When Sargon of Akkad came, they started calling them the Anunnaki. So, I mean, that's just what the facts are.
Very interesting indeed. By the way, what is this? Anna's talking about something that's way out of my Munkal Ra, Pharaoh, very important Zarathustra.
Zarathustra? Yeah,
but we need to talk about Astra. No,
huh?
I don't know. I can already tell you I don't know.
Zarathustra.
I can already say that.
Huh? Zarathustra. Well, some people say is Zoroastrian. You know about Zoroastrianism, right?
Well, isn't that I have my ideas, but I don't want to make any claims. For sure.
Well, Zoroastrianism is basically Zarathustra is basically somebody who came from, you know, Persia. He's the time frame for it is up for argument, but it's anywhere from like 2000 BC to 1000 BC, give or take. You know, somewhere around Iran or Afghanistan. Nobody really knows exactly sure on the time or where the individual came from, but it's just Zoroastrianism is some people believe that it's actually the first. It came before Christianity and all that other stuff, and it influenced basically Judaism, which of course influenced Christianity and Islam and the other monotheistic religions. But Zoroastrianism is very big. I mean, it's still around. People still, even to this day, worship the god. I like to call the god Mazda because that's the easiest way for me to remember it. But the whole name is Ahura. I might be saying it wrong, but Ahura Mazda. And the only reason why I say I remember Mazda is because the Mazda vehicle and shit like that. But it was just basically meaning like it had to do with like almost like how can I say it, like a light, like light and order or something like that. Like you know how when you read the Bible, you always have a burning bush or some type of uh, light that's guiding the people or something like that. It's the same thing like that. The religion in itself, not too many people can tell you exactly what they worship because it's just like Christianity. You can't get two people who are Christian in a room and agree on the same thing. They're going to have differences and arguments and stuff like that. So that's the same thing. But Zoroastrianism is very big. It's like Afghanistan, Iran, somewhere, some parts of Russia. It's just considered the religion that inspired Judaism and the monotheistic religions, basically. But see, that's also interesting to me because when you look at the Abrahamic faith, right? We know Abraham started around 2000 BC, and they say that Abraham started the monotheistic religion. Like I said, I read that Zoroastrianism started anywhere around 2000 BC, also, give or take. Some people have said 2000 BC, some people said 1500 BC, but the point is it's around 2000 and 1500 BC. I've also heard the same thing about the Abrahamic faith. Some people say it started around 2000 BC. Some people say it started a little bit after or whatever the case may be. So there's no actual agreed time frame for it. A lot of people will always try to put their religion above somebody else's because they're trying to predate it before somebody else's, that's why there's always arguments on it. But we do know that you could see so Zoroastrianism has a lot to do with the fire god, basically, right? And when I was talking about the burning bush in Christianity, and you know the light that led the Israelites and stuff like that, and you know how when you read Christianity, baptism, you know, in the earliest of monotheistic religion didn't have to do with baptism. Really didn't have to do with water at the time. It was more with fire. So in Zoroastrianism, instead of them getting baptized in water, or what you would call baptized or baptism in water, it would be fire. They would, you know, their kids or themselves, they'll, you know, walk on fire. Like you know how some people walk on those coals on their feet, and when they come to the other side, they're supposed to be cleansed or something like that, or is it supposed to be a new birth to the right? You know, their religion had to do mostly with fire. That's why when you read the Bible, God always had to have a sacrifice. He had to have an animal that was put into the flames to be sacrificed for him, right? And when you look at Zoroastrianism, they had to do a lot with fire. It's actually Zoroastrianism. If you read about it, man, you'll be very surprised to find the elements of Judaism coming from Zoroastrianism. Like if you read the Bible for what it's worth, instead of trying to find things just to go with your narrative, you'll be like, wow, this shit sounds a lot like Zoroastrianism. Like it does. Like I mean, when I learned about Zoroastrianism and their fire gods and stuff like that, it immediately made me think of the burning bush with Moses. Immediately it made me think about it. And then you also have to think about Moses is also the first individual to have horns. He's the first individual to have horns. And what do we associate horns with? Well, we associate horns usually with the devil or something evil that lives in hell, which is hotter than, you know, anything
I
that
heard
we
those
know
horns
of.
were a misinterpretation. I heard those horns were a misinterpretation, and that they were supposed to be light is coming out of his
Yeah,
head
it's supposed
instead
to
of the
be
horn.
light. That's what I'm saying is that Zoroastrianism, that it had to do with light, fire. It was the leader. It was a wise god or wise gods. It had basically, what is light? Light looks like fire, right? or heat of some sort, right? And that's where the confusion comes from. They say that the people that said is that it's light, they don't want to believe that Moses was first depicted by horns. That's just what the facts are.
Where was Moses in this map? Am I showing it? Yeah, this map. I mean, this is Mesopotamia. That's the Persian Gulf. And in that other little map I was showing, I couldn't find the border because I was wondering, is it showing pre-flood rising or not free? And it shows Ur right down there at the bottom. And then it shows maybe Akkad with a question mark up there near the top. But where are we in that picture? I think we're like right here. And that's where that little bulge comes out. So we're right here. So where is, in that other picture, the shoreline? Hey, you've been there, right? You've actually been there.
I've been all up and down Iraq and Afghanistan like crazy, from Baghdad to all the way up. You know, you see all the way up there, Baghdad. You'll see it. You should. It's right there on the screen. Go back. Scroll back out.
That's Baghdad right there, right?
No, scroll out. And look at your top left when you scroll out. You should see it. Scroll in. It should pop up in a little bit. Yeah. You see it? Oh, you just missed it. Go back out. Go to your top left. And go to right. Go to your left. Go to your left. Go to your left. Go to your left.
Left.
There you go. You see it? Baghdad right there. Stop using this, moving the screen. Okay, so
where the heck is it?
Go take your mouse.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
I see it now. So Baghdad's not right there by the ocean, by the water.
No.
And then where's Akkad? That's the thing. I was looking at this Akkad. That's why I want to see the water. There it shows Babylon right there, but with an E. It shows Akkad up at the top. Where is, and there's a Tigris River right there. That's where we're going to get it. Okay, hold on. There's a, right there. There's a Tigris River right there. Baghdad's right there. I mean, I just want to know where these ancient cities. So Akkad is basically right where Baghdad is. Right
Give
there.
Or take.
Yeah. Babylon is down here. And then these other, the earlier cities that I've known as Ur was one of them. And Uruk was another one. And I don't know all these other ones, whatever. It's kind of hard to decipher for me. Do these cities still exist? Uruk?
Well, according to some, okay, so this is what I learned from the local people there. They use the modern terms, but they also know the ancient places, right? So, okay, you look at this map and you're going to get the modern terms of these cities today, yes. But when you go there and talk to the actual local people, they'll tell you that and all these other places still exist, these ancient sites. Like matter of fact, I give you a good example. Nibiru. You always hear me talk about Nibiru. Well, there's a city in ancient Mesopotamia called Nippur, which is literally Nibiru. Nibiru was an ancient Mesopotamian city in Nippur.
All right, let me try that. I better put in the word city.
Yep, there you go, right there.
Nippur was an ancient Mesopotamian city located in modern-day Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's the map? Right here. But
so Nippur was basically inside of Baghdad, or it's going to be inside of Baghdad at least. It's not going to. It's literally inside of Baghdad. Yeah, see right there. You'll see it. Yeah,
right there. Yeah, if I click on it, it gives me a hard time. Here we go. But the map is what I'm looking for. Maybe there.
Yep, there you go.
All right, Nippur, right there.
Close to Iran, matter of fact. Yeah. So yeah.
basically right up here.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of right here, maybe up here, maybe by the Tigris River. I know that the river was important.
I can't really see your mouse, but yeah, it's in Baghdad. It's like it's if you look at the Persian Gulf and just look at the Persian Gulf. It's to your right.
Sorry. Right here.
Yep.
I can't zoom in. I'm gonna do this next.
So yeah, that whole area right there is basically what can I say? Home to the Sumerians, because look up Shinar, Shinar, because Shinar, Shinar, is the same as Sumer.
Really? That's interesting.
Shinar,
okay, let's do that right here.
That's the biblical.
Let's do it right now. SH what?
Shinar. That's the biblical term for Sumer.
Oh, it goes up here though. It showed. Wait, I put in Shinar, but it comes up Sina, Sina. Look, I wrote Shinar. I promise you.
That's the biblical term. You're gonna have to Google that, because I don't think they use that on the map.
I gotcha. Let me copy that.
Sina is the same thing as Shinar.
Well, this is what they gave us here. It's a little bit close. Sina, Sina, but that's not what you just said, and it's very far away.
Shinar and Sina is not the same. Shinar is the biblical term. So it was basic. So it's basically so to keep it simple, Sumer, Akkad, and the Babylonian area. So it's going to be is basically we just, what was that? What's that? What was the city where we just calling it? Baghdad.
So many.
It's going to be near Baghdad. Yeah.
Well, here it is, and it shows. It doesn't show anywhere. That's the thing with these Sipar. It doesn't show it. Hold on. Let me try this one more time.
Shinar, because you're gonna have to.
Is an ancient region of Mesopotamia, generally identified with the southern part of Babylonia, near the estuaries of the Tigris and Euphrates. The estuaries. What is an estuary?
I can't remember the actual meaning. I can't remember the actual meaning.
Something about river, right? In the Hebrew Bible, it's a historically significant location where the Tower of Babel was built. Shinar.
Yeah, brackish water. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's like a brackish water. So it's because we have that here in Georgia too. It's where the salt and the salt water and the fresh water hit.
But here, nowhere. And this is Wikipedia. Shinar is nowhere to be found in this map. And they always do that, by the way. It's not the first time. They do that all the time. Shinar. Is there any other pictures? No. All right, so here in Wikipedia it says, oh, wait, here's another one. Redirects. No. Shinar.
Southern that's the biblical term. Shinar, that's where, so when people talk about Shinar, when they talk about Shinar and saying, these individuals came from Shinar and blah blah blah, they're basically just saying Sumer, which is basically the Sumerians.
What about this Sipar with 2 P's? Sipar.
Yeah, that's all part of like it's all city states of Mesopotamia.
See, I'm telling you, they mess it up in Wikipedia. They never show you the right words. So, Uruk.
Yeah, they pick the. It depends on the time frame that they pick. Because I've been all the way up to Mosul too. I've been all over Iraq. When I say I've been all over Iraq, I've been all over Iraq, literally everywhere. Mosul, Nineveh, those areas, Kirkuk. I was stationed near Kirkuk a couple of times. I was in Baghdad. I was at near a place that we called the Triangle of Death, because every single day somebody would die in that area. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, every day for 365 days, somebody died in the Triangle of Death. We was there. I mean, I've been all over there, so I can tell you from personal experience that these and the way people live over there is still how some of them lived thousands of years ago. They still live in what some people will call um, uh, mud huts. I guess I don't know if that's the political term or whatever, or the right way, or if it's the
You're
derogatory or
canceled.
whatnot. Yeah,
You're
I don't know
canceled,
about,
bro. You
but
just said
that's what they,
mud hut in
yeah, that's what they,
2025. You said mud hut.
that's what we call them. That's what we
You're
call them.
so canceled. Yeah,
Hey,
I live
call
in
me
a mud
cancel all
hut.
you want.
I live in a mud hut. I live in the rain, man. It's raining right now. The water's coming through my ceiling. So I live in a
Damn.
mud hut. Anyways,
Yeah, but
no, it's okay. We're all good.
no, that's what they. I mean, that's what they would call it there too. I mean, shit, the locals would say it too. So that's why I would say it. You know, they literally. I mean, they live the same way. They still live in tents. You know, and they whenever the seasons would change or something like that, they would pack up their shit and go somewhere else, especially during raining season, because the rain from the mountains would flood them out. You know what I'm saying? And they would flood them out really bad too. Like, I've been to Iraq to the point where we went on missions. We would go out on missions, and you get out on foot patrol or pull a TCP, tactical checkpoint. Trying to catch people in the act of doing some crazy shit, like having IEDs in their cars and shit like that. But it would rain for a few days, real hardcore, and all the way up to damn near your kneecaps. You're walking in water, right? You're just sitting in fucking water, and it's crazy. I mean, it didn't happen too much for us, but like whenever anybody wanted to be hua out there, they felt like they wanted to do something. I mean, yeah, they would do that. And I remember there's plenty of times where a lot of the people that, like, a lot of our translators, because we had a lot of translators there. Matter of fact, some of our translators came here to America after they got done helping us over there. They would tell us stories about how that they were forced to believe in one God at one time. And I wish I was very into this stuff when I was 18 years old, because there could have been a lot of questions I could have asked them, because I mean, I was out there hours, 16 hours a day just sitting out there. So all we had time to do was talk anyway. But if I was 18 with the amount of knowledge that I have now, I mean, there's no telling what I could do. I mean, we rode past plenty of historical sites. I've seen historical sites there that nobody's ever going to be able to see ever again because they blew that shit up. You know what I'm saying? I've been able to see certain things that other people haven't been able to see. So the hell is that?
Yeah, let's honor that. Let's honor
No,
that.
there you go, dude. That's Zoroastrianism right there. Seriously, read about it when
we'll honor that,
when
because honestly, you're right. This stuff is being destroyed.
Yeah, it was that. I was on some missions. There was times when I was on some missions where we had to protect not the museums themselves, but protect the artifacts that were coming from the museums, and they had to ship them and move them out, because when the war kicked off, they people were raiding the museums and stuff. So we set up checkpoints and security details around them, and we had to have we had these missions where we was helping them transport the artifacts from one place to another. So I mean, even with the money, even when they changed out the money, I still have some of Saddam Hussein's old money sitting right over here, matter of fact. I mean,
show it, bro. Come on, pull it out.
All right, hold on.
Let's
I
see
go
it.
grab it. I go grab it. Hold on.
Grab
I'll be
it.
right back.
Let's take a look at that. Yeah, and hold it up to the camera, because I'll tell you what, this is the type of thing you never see it again. And it has been like 20 years, right? What year are you talking about? I think we lost him. He's going to be right back. Going to show that money. Show us that money. Come on now. Okay, so we're going to I mean, look, I am doing an update, but we didn't get all the way through it. And when he comes back, we'll see that money, and we're probably going to finish this up pretty quick. It's been a while.
Yeah, hold on. Here we go. So hold on.
All right, let me put you big. Let me put you big. Hold on, let me put you big so you can. How do I make you the biggest? Solo. There you go. You are the biggest. So hold that money up. We got 68 viewers. I love it that we have 68 viewers. Thank you for viewing. There he is. There's Saddam. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, and on the back, because it's really bad, deteriorated. But you can see like the central bank on the back, Central Bank of Iraq. I mean, I got a lot of it right here. I got some money from Turkey.
Oh, there you go. I wonder if that's the same as I got a little bit of Turkish money. It doesn't look the same anymore. I don't think you can cash that in.
This is going to be pretty cool. Tell me what kind of money this is. Hold on.
Oh, wow. Let me look at that. Yeah, I see 50 pad and then, oh my gosh. Cortin.
There we go.
My gosh.
There we go.
I'll never guess. It looks Russian. I mean, Russian words, right?
What's that word right there say?
It blurred up, so I can't see it.
Oh shit.
Korun Seksholevinsky, 1987. I don't know, man. Where is that from?
Hold on. I got some more. Hold on.
Wait, don't keep us.
Tell me what kind of money you think this is. Hold up.
Saudi Arabia.
Yep. I'm telling you, I've been all over the place. Like I said, I have money.
Wait, who was that last one though? What was the one with the guy with the Russian? What was that?
Hold on, let me see. I just put it down. Hold on. I want to make sure this is
that must have been Russia, right? Look, I've been trying my best. I got Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. I'll figure it out. Uzbekistan, all the standings. I got them all figured out. But I don't know where that money was from. It looked Russian.
It's from the Czech-Slavic time frame. Czechoslovakian
there you
time
go.
frame.
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, you didn't see it?
Yeah, that's part of my game right there.
Look on the bottom. Look on the when you see where it says Korun or Quran. Hold on, it's got to clear up.
Yeah.
There we go. Right there. You see it?
I'm gonna do a screen grab because I got friends in Prague. I got friends in Prague. Yeah, they're ready to go, man. They're ready to go to.
Like I'm telling you, I've been all over, bro. I've been all over.
We got 70 viewers right now. 70 viewers. Hello. 70 viewers watching us right now. We're talking about Czechoslovakian money. And yeah, I want to be in Prague. I'm going to be there, man. I'm going to be there next year for sure. Sorry, I got a little bit of asthma going on.
I got that old Iraqi money. And I got that Saudi Arabian money. Is it this one? Yeah, this one, right? I got that Saudi Arabian money.
Definitely Saudi Arabian.
I got a lot of stuff, man. I've been through a lot of shit, man, you know. And that's why I say, you know, wait, let me see something. Let me see from this.
I just want to thank 70 viewers for being here right now. Thank you very much for and please comment below. We got Anna saying something else. Western Europe money. Western Europe money. What's that mean, Anna? What's your implication? I've got a little bit of asthma going on. so I'm going to be coughing. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things to talk about. I was ready to give a bunch of updates. I promised that in the beginning, but that's not happening anymore. We're going with what you're talking about. I love that money. I love I want to show you the money I picked up from Mauritania. It's got the Richat structure on the money. I gave that money over to everybody at Cosmic Summit. I'm sorry I didn't give you one. But one of them, it's like a 50 cent. It's always a 50 cent piece of paper. When I say 50, I mean it's not $1, right? It's that half full-fledged, and yeah, it's the Eye of Africa right on it. So the people there in Mauritania know about the Eye of Africa, but they don't really know what it represents. They don't know it's Atlantis. They just think it's something important geologically. Hey, by the way, I got the sign up. Where'd you go? I think we're almost out of here, bro. Come on, it's what, been 3 hours? We're
2
at
hours
almost 2
yeah.
hours. 2 hours. 70 people watching, though. We really need to invite the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look. This is the beginning of 2025. I'm sorry, I meant to say it's the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. And we need to talk about what we've really discovered. As far as the Eye of Africa goes, we've got canals, we've got mining, terraforming, all sorts of crazy stuff. And I got all this stuff I'm going to talk about in the next video, I promise. I kind of cheated the viewers today. Wait, what's this? Anna says, guys, I got currency from Yugoslavia and Tesla. What does that say? All Tesla ones. Come on, Anna. Don't tease us. Show us. We want to see it. We want to see it. Come on, Anna. And she's been commenting this whole time, so we're really good. But we got 71 viewers. So, I mean, we got more than when we started. And yeah, we've been talking for 2 hours now and lots of stuff. But let's say it. I mean, come on. Somebody's hiding ancient history from us.
No, ain't nobody hiding it. Nobody's hiding ancient history, bro. People just don't have enough time to go research it. Yeah, think about it, man. Look, I'm retired, man. I'm fortunate enough to be able to stay at home and do what I do, and I don't even have enough time to do what share what I want to share. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the time to research all the time. You know what I mean? Bro, I'm telling you, there is not enough time to gain all this knowledge. There's just not. There's no way you can gain all this knowledge. There's just no way you can. And
we're gonna die. We're gonna die, and it's all gonna be forgotten for sure.
And it is. It's gonna be forgotten. It's gonna be. And
but
the people,
before it's forgotten, we're gonna embrace it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get this shit figured out. And yes, I believe that.
The people that ruin our history are people, and I'm going to be honest with you. I really do believe people like Billy Carson and Zachariah Sitches set us back a lot of years when it comes to gaining this knowledge. Because Billy Carson right now.
What's wrong with Billy Carson? I'm listening. I got to get off the camera. Yeah. I'm listening.
The only thing I don't think he's genuine when he wants to share knowledge. He takes, like I said, he takes everybody's stuff and he creates a monetization out of it. He makes money from other people's stuff. I give you an example. Like I said, the emerald tablets. There's no emerald tablet that's ever out. Nobody has an emerald tablet. And there's no picture of an emerald tablet. There's nothing of an emerald tablet or emerald tablets, as I should say. Maurice Dorrell, who was once known as Clyde Dogans, if I'm not mistaken, because he changed his name. He is the guy that supposedly got this information from Thoth himself. And then he wrote down his translations and what he understood. And when you read Billy Carson's books, he says to gain in-depth or gain real knowledge or gain, the real stuff, you have to subscribe to his stuff. Well, if you read Maurice Dorrell's translations of the Emerald Tablets, he says in his books or in his book that you need to read that book 70 something plus times. I can't remember the exact number, but you're supposed to read it 70 times. Once you read it those 70 plus times, something is supposed to happen within you. Billy Carson doesn't talk about that. He says you have to subscribe to his workshops to gain this better knowledge or more knowledge. And he takes away from actual researchers because, like I said, Zachariah Sitchin literally talks about Planet Nibiru. But I've already went over a whole complete series of his books, and I showed everybody live where to get the actual information from. And we know for a fact, as a group of intelligent individuals, that there is no planet Nibiru out there. Okay, is there a life outside of planet Earth? I absolutely 100% believe that. Is there another planet that might inhabit life out there? Absolutely, I can believe that. But right now, as our archaeological digs, there is no cuneiform tablet of anything that says planet Nibiru orbits our sun every 3,600 years, and that the Anunnaki came to our planet to mine gold, to send gold back to their planet to fix their atmosphere. There's nothing in that. Matter of fact, Zachariah Sitchin says in his books himself, there's no definite information on that. There's no cuneiform on that. He has to pick things from different sources to give him that idea. And you can't do that. You can't do that. You use the source for the Sumerians and you go with the Sumerians say. You use the source for the Akkadians and you go off what the Akkadians say. The problem with that is, and I agree with both Zachariah Sitchin and Billy Carson on this, is that a lot of cuneiform tablets are broken up. They're deteriorated. So you might have to fill in the blanks. But that's when their personal narrative fills in those blanks, because that's not actually what they said. We're just filling in the blanks of what we might comprehend because somebody else told another story. So when it comes to people who actually read the text, who want the information, because I've asked Billy Carson plenty of times. I met him at Cosmic Summit. He's very disrespectful and he doesn't know it. I think he thinks he's so intelligent to the point that he doesn't. I don't think he recognizes it. But there are people out there that do study this stuff, and I'm one of them. I study this stuff really hardcore. And one thing that I've noticed about me that is different than a lot of content creators out there is that I like to be challenged. I want somebody to say, hey, show me the source. I get off on showing people sources. As soon as somebody says source, I'm running straight to my library and I'm grabbing the book and saying, see, this is what it says. This is what it says right here in the book. I don't have to make up nothing. And that's what I did through my series. That's why I have that series, what I've learned from reading these books, because I can tell people what the book says, what I found important, and then I can tell you more about it based off of my in-depth information that I've gained from other sources. But I will always pull up a source to back up my source, right? Like I'm not saying that the person that I'm reading from is 100% accurate. What I'm saying is that if somebody tells me the Epic of Gilgamesh is facts, I can go right now and get the book from my library from Andrew George, open up to the introduction and say that he talks about how we need to be careful of making sure that it's not just facts and fiction. We have to be careful of what we read. He literally says that in so many different ways. I've posted it on Twitter X and everything. I literally have an X account where I take pictures of what I found interesting in the book. And I show you, hey, this is what it says. If it says that this book is fiction, then it's fiction. Literally, when people talk about the Lost Book of Enki, you open the book up, it literally says fiction in front. But a lot of people have told me personally, they say, hey, man, if you want to know about Enki, you need to go get the Lost Book of Enki. So you want me to go read something that's labeled as fiction to learn about a god that is literally depicted and talked about in the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature? No, I'm not going to do that. I've read the book, but I'm not going to use that as a source. I'm going to use what is the actual source, and if you ever read the Lost Book of Enki, Zachariah Sitchin literally has pictures that's in the background of the first chapter of every chapter that he has. He literally has a cuneiform tablet that he's trying to showcase as this is where he got the information from, which is wrong. That's not where he got the information from, because there's no autobiography of Enki. There's nothing of that, some sort of anything. He literally got the information from one or two places. He either got it from the electronic text. Matter of fact, skip all that. He had to get it from Oxford University, because Oxford University is the bread and butter when it comes out to the Sumerian civilization. I mean, there are other.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because they have all the translations that's available to the general public. That's why I say it. So it's not me saying, hey, that's where you need to go to learn solely about them. No, there's other websites that you need to go to. But if you want like I said, before you build the house of knowledge, you need to build your foundation. And the foundation is going to electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature. Or you can buy the book with the ancient literature of Sumer. But I mean, you can literally go on Google right now, type in ETCSL, and the electronic text corpus Sumerian literature will pop up, and boom, you will have it. But the problem only with that is that you need to know exactly what the Sumerians used. ETCSL.
What is it?
ETCSL. Yep, type that in right there. University of Oxford, the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature. Bada boom, bada bing. And then when you go to the simply search area, if you type in Anunnaki, nothing is going to come up, because that's not what the Sumerians called them. You need to type in Anuna. But I want you to read that introduction. Read that introduction loud, and pay attention to the date that's going to come up. Just read that out loud.
All right, I was trying to get it bigger before I started. Yeah. Sumerian is the first language. Okay, so right here, we're talking about the language more than we are the culture.
Yep.
For which we have written evidence and its literature for the earliest known. The electronic text corpus of Sumerian language literature. Sumerian literature is a project of the University of Oxford. Comprises a selection of nearly 400 literary compositions recorded on sources which come from ancient Mesopotamia, modern Iraq, and date to the late 3rd and early 2nd millennia BCE.
Now the late 3rd and early 2nd millennium BC.
Yeah, I want to make it a little bigger.
But that's the part that's important.
Why so?
Because it tells you the date frame of when these texts were possibly dated to. You see what I'm saying? And if you pick up the literature of ancient Sumer, the book, it literally says 1800 BCE on the back of it.
1800 BCE.
18.
Wow. You got any older books than that?
From the Sumerians? No, this is the bread and butter right here. This website is the bread and butter right here. Go to the simple search real quick.
Yeah, I'm having a problem with my mouse. There we go.
Type in ANUNA and hit go, because that's what the Sumerians called them.
It's not going.
You gotta hit go.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, that's now you see right there. So this tells you everything that has to do with the Anuna right here, / the Anunnaki.
This is the Anunnaki.
Yeah, because the Sumerians called them the Anuna. It's the Akkadians that called them the Anunnaki. And you would not find anything. Now type in go back. Here's another thing. Go back to the beginning. I'm gonna show you another thing.
How about here?
Yeah, you could do it right there. Type in Nibru.
Isn't there another letter in there?
Nope, because
Nibru?
that's what the Sumerians called them. The Sumerians called it Nibru. The Akkadians called it Nibiru. Now, this is everything about Nibiru/Nibiru right here. And you will not find anything about them coming from a planet that orbit the sun every 3,600 years. Nothing.
I'm having a little problem with my mouse. There we go. And a lot of talk about Enki. So we've got Enki talking about Nibiru.
Yeah.
In fact, everything up here is Enki, Enki, Enki.
Yeah, Enki's mentioned a lot. So that's what I'm saying is that you will not find anything in here about planet Nibiru orbiting our sun every 3,600 years. You're not going to find anything about the Sumerians or the Anunnaki needing gold for their planet Nibiru to their atmosphere. You're not going to find it in here. Nothing. Zero zelts. You're not going to find nothing in there.
Respect to Nibiru. Abandoned to the shrine Nibiru. What are they talking about?
The shrine is usually where? The temple.
So this is a place underwater? Where is this shrine?
This shrine is Nibiru was on top of what some people would consider a hilltop or a mountain. You know how the Greeks had Mount Olympus, all their gods lived on Mount Olympus. That's basically, matter of fact, how Egypt is higher ground than the city around it. It's the same exact thing.
Look at the Parthenon. The same with the Parthenon.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would not find any of what Zechariah Sitchin says in those texts. Zero, zilch, none. You would not be able to find, Billy Carson will not be able to give you any of that information. Go to the top, go back to the search bar, not this search bar, but go to your Google, go back to your Google. I want you to look at something else. I want to show you something else. Type in Epic of Gilgamesh. CDLI.
CDLI.
Yep.
Now that pops up CD link. Just hit enter?
Yeah, just hit enter. Okay, click on the first one. This is the cuneiform tablet that gives you about part of the Epic of Gilgamesh.
That little thing right there.
No, there's a lot more. There's a lot more of it, but that's just one of them. That's just I wanted to show you how deteriorated some of the tablets look when they're trying to translate some of the stuff.
Where am I going next? Right here.
No, that's just the tablet. Yeah, that's just the tablet.
That's it. Well, I'm seeing a very
there's
small
more there's more of it. There's more of it, of course, but you got to know how to search it. You see how it's deteriorated? So they take a little bit of that, and then whatever's not included in there, they create a narrative from those missing parts.
That's the best I can get right there.
No, it looks good. I can see it on my screen.
This is the Epic of Gilgamesh, but you said there's more. So where's the more?
Yeah. So go back to your Google, because it's type. Okay, so you see where it says the Babylonian Gilgamesh Epic? It should be like, that one right there. Click on that one. That should be the biggest one. Oh no, it's not. Okay, yeah, you can click on any of those. So those are all things that tablets that you can click on. So you see that's part of one.
Taking its time. There it is.
Yeah, that's part of one. And then you can go back to the beginning. You can go through all the ones that have parts of it. Those are actually cuneiform tablets with the Cuneiform Digital Initiative identifier.
Is that the identifier right
That's
there?
yep, that's the identifier right there, the number.
Hard to see what this says because you can barely make out what's going on. Let's go to the next.
Exactly.
What's going on down here? Looks a little bit, yeah, barely making. You can't see anything.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that what you can read is only a portion. So just imagine, let me put it in perspective like this. Say you get a 50-page book, right? But somebody else has that same 50-page book. You're missing 1 through 30 and they have, 30 through 40, right? You'll take, but the one that the other person has is a republished, not a republished, a revised version, meaning they revised it, right? So you'll fill in the blanks and say, okay, well, we can find this same exact story in the Sumerians, but we don't know exactly what the Sumerians said, but we know what the Akkadians said, or whoever. Yeah, see,
Here's
that's another one. Look.
Yep. Yeah, this one is showing. It's kind of hard to zoom in on it. You got to go through all these processes. Now here we can see the actually stylus, and we can see the writing. That other one was a little bit blank. So yeah, this is a lot. And yeah, get in there and try to decipher all those marks. And I am a linguist. I do consider myself a linguist. I consider that very hard.
Yeah, and we have already, both me and you already talked about how the Chinese writing system and the Sumerian writing system, they have some similarities in them. And I showed you the book that I have that on.
Yeah, there's some differences in similarities in strokes, and the way these stylus marks could be considered a stroke when you're drawing with a stylus, calligraphy or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, very similar, and yes, not very different in age. To be honest, the Chinese always brag they've got 5,000 years of history, but then when you try to get it down and detail it, you're getting like a couple thousand, maybe 3,000. But the truth is they were always around there. You can't deny they were living there. And their language was stroke order, characters. And yes, each one of these could be a character to me. I can't seem to get out of there. How do I get out of there?
You got to close it out because it's going to always open up a new window when you do it.
Wow, only 9 p.m. here. What time is it where you are?
It's midnight.
Midnight? Oh my gosh. We probably should sum this up. And yes, I didn't get through my presentation at all, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because everything you said is so valid and important. And the fact that people misinterpret, because they're going by what they've been told. And that's why so many people think that the Seven Sisters is the Little Dipper. It ain't.
Yeah.
It ain't, They're all like, that's the Little Dipper. I'm like, no, you're pointing straight up. That's definitely not the Little Dipper. Point north, that's the Little Dipper. And they're like, oh, no, but I've been taught. No, you were taught wrong. People are misinforming you.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
Pleiades looks like a Little Dipper, but it's not the Little Dipper. It's the Seven Sisters. It's part of Taurus. It's one of the oldest, very, very oldest, number one oldest constellations on this whole chart. That's what I've been with those things I shared earlier.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. When it comes to the Sumerians and Anunnaki, there's only one person that I can come to mind that really, takes away the credibility of what should be known. I get it. Some people need to live off of being rich. I know some people got to have money, and I feel like, I know people that's what makes them. You know what I mean? And if that's the only thing that makes them and identify them, then hey, do what you want to do. But my point is that when we're going to line up the facts, you can't take away the fact that the Sumerians, they didn't know no more than 5 planets. It's literally known that whatever planets you can see with the naked eye, that's what the Sumerians knew. It wasn't until later on in the Chaldean time frame, because those are considered the first astrologers out there. They're the first ones that was looking in the skies and putting all this stuff together. And that's where you get the idea of, the, more planets and so on and so forth, because they were tracking the skies. I know a lot of people say, well, telescopes weren't made into a certain time frame. Well, we know for a fact that they had some type of glass back then. We don't know what type of glass that we can say that they had, but they had some type of glass. And if you know about telescopes, some of them, you can tell that it has certain types of lenses and glasses and stuff like that. But
don't forget that King Atlas was the creator of the celestial globe. So he had the skies nailed down. He was the first.
Already mapped out.
But they don't mention him because nobody knows when he was alive. But he was the creator of the Atlas. He was the creator of the celestial map. And yet he was the son of Atlantis. But nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah, so it's just, for me, it's just important to, I don't, if you ever put me in a debate with Billy Carson, you think he ran out on Wesley Huff like that, man, that dude would never come back online ever again, straight up, because I would shut him down so bad that he would never get back online again. He would never make another video about the Anunnaki again, because I would bring straight facts to the table. Like, there's no denying it. Like, everything that I just shared with you and your audience, everything that I just shared, that I shared through my series and stuff like that, it's all facts. Okay, if there is a planet Nibiru out there, give me the cuneiform tablet identifier that says that, because I already showed you where you can go look for the cuneiform tablet yourself, and which is CDLI, the Cuneiform Digital Library of Initiative. And there's other websites, of course, too, like the British Museum and all these other ones, Pennsylvania and stuff like that. But my point is that there's when I said earlier today, there's too many people out there that want to be content creators. People want to be known and famous and have these riches and, show off what they have because, it makes them feel good. Money shouldn't make you feel like that. If you really are truly, honestly wanting to know about history and you want to bring facts to the table, you're not going to deviate away from something else. And I give you an example. How many times have you ever told somebody in your lifetime, don't put words in my mouth? You probably said that a couple of times in your life, right? Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that, right? This is what I said, right? That's how I feel about what Billy Carson is doing against the Sumerians. If the Sumerians didn't say that, don't put words in their mouth. Leave it as it is. Don't disrespect them like that, because you want somebody to disrespect you in a sense and put words in your mouth. So why would you do it to somebody else? If they can't speak for themselves, then just speak on what you can speak on, right? And that's what the facts are. Don't add your own narrative in there and all this other stuff. Because I like I said, I do believe in aliens. I do believe in extraterrestrial life. I believe in that stuff. But the Sumerians themselves didn't talk about no planet coming from no other place that orbits our sun every 3,600 years. And the amount of time that it would for them to do what they needed to do, one catastrophic event, one spaceship or whatever that exploded with that gold on there would take away almost 10,000 years, close to, I'm just going to say like 7,000 years. Because remember, like I said, Billy Carson, Zachariah Sitchin says planet Nibiru orbits the sun every 3,600 years. So that means when they come here for the 3,600 years, something happens where they can't launch, weather reasons, whatever the case may be, malfunctions in the ship or whatever. They have to wait for another 3,600 years to do it again. Right? That doesn't make sense if you're trying to save a planet.
Nope,
especially
not
if
at
they
all.
specifically, yeah, right, because that means you're missing out those 3,600 years. We already have problems with our planet, with our electronics right now. They even say, even till this day, that UFOs crash land on planet Earth all the time. So why would you risk that possibility if you could easily just transport all your people from that planet to here, especially if it's already deteriorating, right? How do you know the gold is actually going to hold up and last and save you, right? How do you know that something else is not? They say every planet is going to die eventually anyway. So why wouldn't you, if you found a new planet that can, maintain life, why not just ship everybody from that planet to the next one? Especially if you say you have the technology to do it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense on a logical scale to do that, right?
I hear you,
So
and I believe that yeah, a lot of things have been misdirected and deflecting. Just like I said at the beginning of this video, they're deflecting on the story of Atlantis with that whole Bob Snow guy or whatever his name was, and the way that he was trying to play it. They're trying to say this isn't a real story. Why are they even bothering saying that? Why would you even say something like that
why
when
did you
it
even
could
have a
be?
conversation about it in the first place? If
So
you don't
this
believe it's real, then just move on from the conversation. Why are you going to sit here and convince other people it's not real when there's literally
Well,
books
it's
written
a
about
form of the same deflection we've been going through our whole system. Ever since we've been born, we've been dealing with this. We've
it?
been
Yeah.
dealing with this misdirection since the beginning. But now we're starting to see through the hiding and the secrets and we're starting to see the real story here. And that's why I'm involved in all this. That's why I'm wearing these sunglasses and this hat right now. Boom. Hey, you've been doing a great job with doing most of the talking tonight. I'm really happy with what you've been saying. We got a couple people. One thing I want to say is Anna, she said they used fish bones for the cuneiform. Is that true, or what do you think about
Sometimes
that?
they did, yeah. Sometimes they did. When they didn't have a reed, like a stylus or something like that, they did definitely use certain types of fish bones.
Well, and honestly, we're talking about a stroke, and that's why I'm not disagreeing with her. But when you talk about one line, it could go straight up and down, it could go side to side, it can go kind of up, and there's different strokes in Chinese. That's how I learned that. Literally, every Chinese character can be created with about 7 strokes, maybe 8.
Mhm.
But the cuneiform is even more straight. I mean, it's literally like I want to study more about all this. I
Well,
really do.
it started as a pictographic script, so it mainly started like how can I say, it was like how you use a stylus. You just press it on a certain way, press it on the clay
You go
tablet a
straight
certain
down.
way.
You go straight down with a certain angle. Sure.
Mhm. Yeah, but yeah, that's
Oh,
all I got to say, man.
Anna says that was the Asian Mandarin way to do it, and that's what I know is Mandarin. I speak Mandarin. 我当然可以讲中文. But Anna Zovar, by the way, almost Zoroastrian, Zovarzina, very impressed by her comments tonight. We got to cut it short, bro. I'm ready to probably crash out
Yeah.
pretty soon.
All right, let's
But
do
we
it.
got,
Let's cut it down, man.
according to this, I got 71 viewers, but then I logged in over here and it says 4 viewers, 5 watching now. Why does it say 71 when I've got 5 up there at the
Yeah, let me see
YouTube?
how
I'm being stifled, bro. We're being
it
stifled.
happens. It
We're out
happens,
of
bro.
here. We're going to get out of here. Hey, I'm going to end the stream, but let's have a quick talk after I end it. What do you think?
All right,
And
bro.
yes, I'm probably ready for bed. But honestly, it was a great talk. And yes, we got to hash this out. Anna says, Mi Mung Hao. Huh? Oh, wait, hold on. I got my mouse. I got to get my mouse right. Mi Mung Hao. No, it's not Mi Mung Hao. It's, we got another viewer. Mi Mung Hao. Well, it's close. I don't know what Mi Mung Hao means exactly, so I'm not going to comment. Illumino Hato says, I am here. I am one. Anna says, I am with you. Let's do it. Thank you, Anna. Let's keep commenting after this is finished down below in the permanent comment section. And let's get this figured out. Do I really have 72 viewers? We've been talking for 2 hours and a half. 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Let's get it settled out so we can go to bed. I know you're later than me, and I'm ready. I already took my nap. We're talking about what is it called? Napping chaos. What did I say earlier? What did I say?
Hold on. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, you gotta look it up. No, you're not gonna find it. It's too far back. It's called napping. Oh, it was perfect. I love that comment about napping. You're looking for it. I'm looking for it too. Napping.
Nap's gone wild.
Naps gone wild. Just like that pornography that we got sucked in when I was a teenager. Girls Gone Wild. Oh, I wanted to see that. Now I'm a little older and it's naps gone wild, bro. Naps are going wild in my life. I can't control them at all. I got a nap. I got to wake. I'm awake. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, waking life. This is the next step. So, yeah, you were inviting people in the Muse group to come join us, but I don't think they're going to make it. We're live. We are live. Thank you, Tyrone. We're out of here. Let's get out of here.
Bro.
We're going to have a good night. Thank you all. We got 68 viewers according to my thing, but hard to believe when I see YouTube says 4. We out. Have a good night. We're going to continue this conversation tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.